Hey everyone, this is Jennifer with DP Addiction Adventures, and thank you so much for joining our Earth Day collab. Elizabeth Ensley and I are having a lot of fun. Please go grab your collab piece, whether it's a diamond canvas, whether it's coloring, whatever it may be, and join us as we explore how to win a free canvas and the Earth's most interesting foods. It's collab day. I'm so excited to be collabing with you guys. I can't wait to dive into our Earth Day collab. So I have my crystal art right here ready to be worked on, and it is week 3. And Elizabeth, how are you doing? Are you keeping up? Are you enjoying it? I really enjoyed watching your week 2 collab video, and you were trying to diamond paint while looking through your camera, your phone, and it was really funny. So thank you for that entertainment. It was great, but go check out Elizabeth Ensley. She is my collab partner. We are going back and forth every week on Earth Day, delayed, right? With Corona, everything's a little bit delayed. So I wanted to make an announcement at first, is that we have two giveaways going on right now. The first giveaway is for those who are really passionate, like Elizabeth and I, about the earth and want to use this opportunity to give a monetary donation. Not to us, no, to something that has to do with the earth. And what we are doing is we are doing a giveaway with these beautiful Tree of Life cover minders. Okay, so we have 4 of them. They're all stuck together, but they are absolutely gorgeous. They're all the same. So we will be doing a drawing for these beautiful cover minders. And we will also have a grand prize of this beautiful necklace that is handmade of the Tree of Life with moonstones. And right now my lighting is really yellow, but these are gorgeous moonstones. They're like a white, clear pearl mix. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And how you get entered in for this giveaway, because there's 2, remember? This one is to email us at the email address right here that's on the screen, or I'll put it as a link down below, and let us know what you donated to and then some sort of proof. I suggested maybe a confirmation, receipt or something. You can black out how much you gave, but we just need a date and that it has to do something with the earth. Now, what that means can be very general if you want. It can be animals, plants, the earth, water, wind, fire, like the Australian fires or the wildfires in California. It can be anything that has to do with preserving something of the earth, and send it to that email. And then at the end of the collab, we will pull names, and I have 4 for my channel of the cover minders. Elizabeth has 4 for her channel, and then we have 1 necklace for each channel. So there'll be 10 winners total for that part of the giveaway. The second part, real quickly, is a crystal canvas art piece. So Amy has graciously donated for each channel a canvas. We're still working on whether she'll have a couple for you to pick from if you're the winner, or if you get to pick yourself. We're still working out those details. So thank you so much for sponsoring the giveaway for our collab for Earth Day. You can choose, whoever the winners are, we'll let you know whether you can choose out of just a couple Amy's picked or the whole selection that's available. How you do that giveaway is you watch each week and we will be putting a Bitmoji of ourselves up on the screen and a word from our quote. And you string those words all together in order. So week 1 is the beginning, and week 2 is kind of the middle, week 3 the middle, week 4, so on until we get to the end. You're going to put all of that together, and you're going to email us the quote. And if you get the quote correct in the right order, you go into the drawing. So stay tuned and be watching. We do not really warn you on the screen when it comes up, but I keep it up for a little bit, so hopefully you see it when you're glancing up. So those are all the announcements. I'm going to dig in. One thing I forgot when I did my last one is I forgot to let Elizabeth know if she was correct or not on answering her Golden Girl question. And I'm using a drill pen without wax. Let me wax this baby up. Okay, so her question 2 weeks ago, because I didn't give her a question last week, her question 2 weeks ago had to do with Rose Nyland on the Golden Girls. Now, she and I both love the Golden Girls, and so we decided in our collab, even though it has nothing to do with Earth Day, it has to do with us, that we would ask a trivia question. And last week, I didn't have one in my head. She was a great sport and understood, but I wanted to let you guys know how right she was on answering the question. So the question I had given her is, Rose is head over the Sunshine Cadets. And I had asked her, when there's a camp out in the home because of the rain, how did the camp out end and what did Rose have to end up wearing on her head? She got probably an 85% on this question. She got most of it right. So the camp out ended because they wanted ice cream, or that's how it ended. They went and got ice cream. And so it ended because I don't know if it was, they were bored, they didn't want to be inside, it wasn't a real camp out, they had been complaining, and they didn't like the scary stories that the older women were telling. So, and Rose ended up having to wear a headdress from a Indian tribe because it was a certain like full moon day of the year kind of thing. So I would say, Elizabeth, yes, it ended because they were bored, but how it ended is they went and got ice cream. Her question to me was a hard one. I could have sworn that Blanche's boyfriend at the time, or who she was seeing, owned the dry cleaner, but it cracked me up that it was the largest or third largest neutering, you call it organization, neutering business. That was so funny that they're ranked that way. Anyway, so I got it wrong. So right now she's 1 point up and I'm 1 point down. Her newest question for me had to do with a time that Blanche saw her man with another woman, and Rose's boss made a pass at her, and Sophia was going to give advice. Now, normally this would be a really hard one, but I have been watching Golden Girls most nights before I go to bed, and I'm in season 3 right now, and it was a season, or it was an episode I actually just watched a couple nights before she asked the question. And it almost hit me up because there's also another time in that season that Sophia doesn't use her normal picture it and chooses a different city and then says, what, I can't travel? And so I was like, is Elizabeth thinking of that one? Am I getting tripped up? And I was like, no, I just saw this. So Sophia normally tells a funny story about her past, and so when she was giving advice, I think I remember it was Sicily, and I actually think she was in the kitchen making a line on the milk magnesia, or some, whatever it's called, like the stuff that helps your stomach. So I think it is Picture Sicily, but you let me know if I'm right or wrong, because I really thought I knew the answer to the last one and I ended up getting it wrong. So let me know. Now my question for you, Miss Elizabeth, is when Dorothy and Sophia were playing Scrabble, what word was Sophia trying to get away with using that really wasn't a word? And I still laugh to this day every time that scene goes on. I don't know why, I just do. So that's my question for you. All right. Now that we have business out of the way, let's get to talking. How are you guys doing? I would love to hear what you're working on as you're collaborating with us. I'd love to hear if you have any questions or any trivia that you want to try to stop us up on. Yeah, be part of this collab. Keep the conversation going. Last time I was talking about fun earth facts. Did you guys look anything up as well? There was one fact that said, it wasn't on the list I read, but it says you weigh less at the equator than you do at the poles, the North and South Pole. I was like, dang, I need to move there. Now, it didn't say how much less, but it did say that you weighed less. So just for those people who may want to come with me to the equator. All right. Sorry, my washi tape was stuck under there. I couldn't see the symbols. Oh, so I thought that I would go over, sometimes at night while I'm listening to my Golden Girls, I'm looking at some weird stuff on the internet. Yeah, not that weird. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm looking up like interesting facts, and I came across this popular science fact list of, let me read the title. Popular foods that grow in somewhat startling ways. And some of them I knew and some of them I didn't. And so I thought I'd go through them and ask you if you knew about these, and let me know if there's a food out there that you found, either a really odd food or something that you wouldn't expect to eat, but you can eat it. You know, I'd love you guys to help with the conversation. So here we go. The first one is pineapples. Do you guys really know how pineapples grow? Like, do they grow on trees, bushes, vines? I actually did not know how pineapples grew, and so that was the first one, and I was super interested to read it. I'm going to read it and then show you the picture. So it says, cherries grow on trees, strawberries on vines. Whoops. Nope. Wrong one. Pineapple. While many people think pineapples grow on trees, this fruit is actually a hibiscus perennial with soft palm-like leaves and no woody stem. In fact, the pineapple is in the same family as air plants, those little plants that you just kind of spray with water and they go in those glass jars. The fruit grows out of the center of the plant, but only once it's old enough to flower, a process that takes 2 to 3 years. If that isn't suitably weird, how about this? Pineapples are berries, or cluster berries to be specific. So here is an example of a pineapple farm. Isn't that kind of interesting? So here's like the fern, and then here's the fruit. I thought that was interesting. Okay, so the next one is cocoa beans. So I'll show you. Chocolate comes from the seeds of the fruit of this like Theobroma cocoa tree, the leathery cocoa pod pictured here. But you don't just grind up the seed to make chocolate. they have to be roasted and fermented first. So did you know that your chocolate has to be fermented? Like maybe that's why it's so, what do you call it? Not municipal. Oh, I'm horrible at vocabulary, but maybe that's why it helps us so much, because it's been fermented. So it calms us down. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. So the next one is vanilla. So vanilla is the edible fruit of an orchid. Although vanilla is grown in many regions around the world, most notably Madagascar, the bee that can naturally pollinate vanilla is only found in Mexico and Central America. So I'm like, everywhere else in the world that vanilla grows, it must be hand pollinated, which is one reason why it's so expensive. And I've actually watched like a video on vanilla and how it grows on these trees, the flower, and people have to go through and pollinate them. Very interesting. Okay, this next one is asparagus. Now, Michigan has tons of asparagus. Each stalk of asparagus emerges from the ground like a skinny little green tree. It's a perennial plant, meaning it grows back year after year, even when you cut it, if the conditions are right. If you let it grow too long, the top of the asparagus will flower. As it gets taller, it develops surrounding leaves that are quite fern-like. Eventually, the plant will even produce tiny red berries, but the berries are toxic. So no eating asparagus berries, okay? We don't want any of you to die. That would be a fun kids experiment. Hey, let's go plant some asparagus and watch it grow until it flowers, but don't eat the berries. Kids are like, berries? I love red berries. No red berries. And I always think, can you imagine the people that realize some of these foods? The pineapple, for instance. There's this big, huge honking thing. Like, what possessed them to try to chop it open? Maybe they thought, hey, this might be a good material to make some house material out of, a table out of. Then they go to chop it and it's yellow inside and juicy, and they're like, it's kind of juicy. Maybe we should taste it. Or asparagus growing out of the ground. Like, hey, let's just chop this up. Or mushrooms. Like, who possessed people to eat mushrooms? I don't know. I'm not a mushroom fan, so anybody who loves mushrooms, you can eat my world's portion of mushrooms and enjoy them forever and ever. Amen. Okay, I'm just getting the rest of these ends done, and then I'll read the next one. Okay, the next one is a cashew. Now, this was interesting because one night I was laying in bed wide awake, and my dad loves cashews, and I thought, I know they're expensive because of how they have to be harvested. I want to see how they're harvested. So I was watching a YouTube video on it. Everything's on YouTube now, including us. Woo! Okay, so cashews grow on trees. That's not too shocking, but the particulars throw a lot of people for a loop. The cashew nut is encased in a shell at the base of the cashew fruit, commonly called the cashew apple. In many of countries where cashews are grown, the apple is turned into jellies, drinks, and sometimes even distilled into liquor. Now, the YouTube video I watched said like the apple is actually poisonous. Or maybe it's the shell of the cashew is poisonous unless something's done to it. But this is the plant. So here's the cashew apple, and then this is the cashew. Interesting. Interesting. All right, so peanuts are actually legumes, not nuts, which puts them in the same grouping as kidney and lima beans. Nothing brings that message home quite like this freaky image of them freshly dug from the ground, growing all bean-like. So here's the cashews right here. Okay, the next one is coffee. So this is what natural coffee looks like. It almost looks like cranberries, doesn't it? They start out green and then they go to red. So like chocolate, coffee comes from a seed. In this case, the seeds are enclosed in a brightly colored cherry-like fruit, often called coffee cherry. The fruit itself grows on a plant that's best described as a bush or a small tree. It is veritable that accounts for most of the world's production. Well, it's like these weird words. While Coffea canephora accounts for the rest. In the West, we mostly ignore the fruit that surrounds the coffee seed, but it can be brewed into a tea. Our coffee budget, it went up because we're working from home. So my work, you know, I would make coffee at work and they would be supplying the actual coffee. But now that I'm working at home during the shelter in place, I have to steal from my husband's collection. Well, not really steal, but it's always a race. Who gets to the coffee maker first? Because it makes like 2.5, technically makes 3 to 4 cups, the craft we use. But our size coffee mugs, it's about 2.5 cups. And so he'll get a cup and I'll get a cup and then there'll be half a cup left. So the person who gets the half a cup will make the next craft, the next, I don't know. I keep wanting to say bottle and it's not bottle. The next pot, thank you. My husband's helping me in my brain right now. I needed it. So, yeah. Okay, artichoke. Now this one was interesting. Artichokes are in the same family as thistles. We're actually eating the flower before it's bloomed. Consequently, it just hangs out on the stalk in the middle of a cluster of smaller flowers. So here's a picture of it. So here's the artichoke right here. And this is when it actually blooms. So we're eating it before it blooms. Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are edible buds. They are part of the same species as cabbage, which almost explains why they grow on a fibrous stalk that looks like someone stuck a cabbage on top. What a world. Brassica oerlichia is a species with over a dozen varieties bred to grow into plants that seem wildly different from one another. You might not be surprised to learn that cauliflower and broccoli are actually the same species. But did you know that these plants also share their DNA with Brussels sprouts, kale, and those weird decorative cabbages that grow at the mall? What? Cabbages that grow at the mall? What the heck? All right, so here's a picture. And I didn't know this until I saw fresh Brussels sprouts at the store, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And someone's like, it's Brussels sprouts. So I thought those were kind of interesting to read. It's amazing what you'll find. I do know there's another one that's not in there, which is cinnamon, and cinnamon is actually off the bark of a cinnamon tree. So somebody has to go and peel the bark off, and when you peel it off, it forms into that tight spiral, similar to like a chocolate curl when you're peeling chocolate. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, so I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any interesting food facts or animal facts or things that you have found in the middle of the night that have interested you? I'd love to hear down below. What I plan on doing is next week giving Elizabeth a Mad Lib. And then next week I will be reading the answers of the Mad Lib so that we can have some fun with the Mad Lib. If you have any questions you would like me to answer for you, I would love to hear from you on your questions. And I'd also love to hear, what are you doing, like I said before, on this collab? What are you doing to have fun? What's your work in progress? Go check out Creative Craft Addictions, my Facebook group down below. I'd love if you became a member, answer the questions, and post your WIP. I'd love to see your WIP for what you're doing right now. I'm going to end this now. It's been a really long week, but I love spending time with you, and I can't wait to hear your comments and your questions, and have a great time next week. Until next time, be blessed, take care, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.